My beloved child. Listen carefully, because this moment did not arrive by accident, and these words did not find you randomly. There is a reason your eyes stopped here, a reason your heart felt a slight pause, a reason your breath changed without you noticing. What I am about to reveal is not meant to scare you, but to prepare you, because preparation is protection, and awareness is power. For a long time, you have sensed something was off, something unseen moving quietly around your life, something smiling on the surface while carrying a different intention underneath. You tried to ignore that feeling. You told yourself you were overthinking. You told yourself to stay calm, to stay kind, to stay trusting. But deep inside, there was a whisper that never fully went silent. Tonight, that whisper becomes a voice. Tonight, the fog begins to lift. Tonight, I ask you to stay with me until the end, because every word builds towards something that will finally make sense of everything you have been feeling. Do not rush. Do not skip. This message unfolds step by step, and each step matters more than you realize. Before the name is revealed, you must understand the pattern, because truth never arrives without signs. This person did not come into your life suddenly. They entered slowly, carefully, almost invisibly. They blended into your routine. They learned your habits. They observed your reactions. They studied your silence more than your words. They knew when you were strong and when you were tired. They noticed what made you doubt yourself and what made you hopeful. They did not attack. They waited. They did not rush. They smiled. They listened. They agreed. And each time you felt slightly drained after being around them, you blamed yourself. Each time you felt confused after a conversation, you thought you misunderstood. Each time you felt your confidence dip for no clear reason, you assumed it was just a bad day. But patterns never lie, my child. Energy never lies. Intuition never lies. Only people do. And the most shocking part is this. The person who can harm you the most is rarely the one who looks dangerous. It is the one who feels familiar. It is the one who feels safe. It is the one you never thought to question. Now listen closely, because this is where the warning becomes clear. This person does not see you the way you see them. You see connection. They see advantage. You see loyalty. They see opportunity. You see honesty. They see access. Every time you grow, they feel smaller. Every time you succeed, they feel exposed. Every time you choose yourself, they feel threatened. And instead of growing with you, instead of learning from you, instead of celebrating you, they quietly compete with you. Not openly. Not loudly. But internally, constantly. They compare their life to yours when no one is watching. They replay your words in their mind, not to understand, but to measure. They notice how others respond to you. They notice the respect you receive. They notice the light you carry without effort. And over time, admiration turns into discomfort, discomfort turns into resentment, and resentment looks for a place to hide. That hiding place is often behind kindness, jokes, concern, or advice. That is why this warning is not obvious. That is why it feels shocking. Here is the moment that will stay with you, because this is where the name reveals itself. The person who can harm you is not defined by a label like friend, partner, colleague, or relative. The name that will shock you is this: familiarity. The danger is not a stranger in the dark. The danger is familiarity without truth. The danger is closeness without alignment. The danger is someone who knows your story but does not respect your journey. Someone who knows your wounds but does not protect them. Someone who knows your dreams but does not support them. And when you hear this name, something inside you tightens, because suddenly faces appear in your mind. Suddenly moments replay. Suddenly sentences sound different. Suddenly silence feels louder. This is not coincidence. This is recognition. Recognition is the first step toward safety. Finally, understand this, my beloved child, because this truth is meant to strengthen you, not isolate you. You are not weak for trusting. You are not foolish for loving. You are not wrong for believing the good in people. Those qualities are your light. But light must be protected, not exposed endlessly to those who stand too close without warmth. From this moment forward, you will notice more. You will listen differently. You will feel shifts faster. You will stop explaining your intuition away. Distance will no longer feel like guilt. Silence will no longer feel like fear. Choosing peace will no longer feel selfish. This warning arrives not because harm has already won, but because it has not. You are ahead of it now. You are aware. You are awake. And awareness changes everything. Stay with this message. Let it settle. Because what comes next will connect even deeper, and the truth will become even clearer. There is something you must understand now, because clarity always comes before separation. Once awareness enters your life, nothing stays the same, even if everything looks the same on the surface. The room does not change, the faces do not change, the conversations may sound familiar, yet you feel different inside. That shift is not confusion. That shift is truth settling in. From this point forward, you will begin to notice how certain interactions feel heavier than before, how some smiles feel delayed, how some words feel carefully chosen instead of natural. This is not your imagination sharpening for no reason. This is discernment activating. When light increases, shadows do not disappear immediately. They become more defined. That is why this phase feels intense. You are not losing people. You are losing illusions. And illusions always resist before they fade. Pay attention to how this person reacts when you stay quiet instead of explaining yourself. Notice what happens when you stop sharing every plan, every feeling, every fear. Watch carefully when you choose peace over proving your point. Their discomfort will speak louder than their words. Some people only feel comfortable when they have access to your emotions, your doubts, your struggles. When that access closes, even gently, they feel unsettled. Not because you hurt them, but because control feels like connection to them. This is where many people misunderstand kindness. Kindness does not mean constant availability. Kindness does not mean unlimited access. Kindness does not mean shrinking so others feel secure. Real kindness includes honesty with yourself. And when you honor that honesty, the wrong connections begin to reveal themselves without confrontation, without drama, without noise. You may wonder why this warning comes now and not earlier. The answer is simple and powerful. You are ready now. Before this moment, you might have doubted yourself too much. You might have ignored signs too easily. You might have chosen comfort over truth. But something in you has matured. Something in you has stabilized. Something in you no longer needs validation the way it once did. That is why this message reaches you now. Growth changes the rules. Growth changes the players. Growth exposes misalignment naturally. You did not outgrow people to feel superior. You outgrew certain dynamics to feel free. And freedom always attracts resistance from those who benefited from your silence. Here is what makes this revelation once in a lifetime. You are being shown that protection does not always arrive as removal. Sometimes protection arrives as clarity. Sometimes it arrives as emotional neutrality. Sometimes it arrives as the ability to observe without reacting. When you stop reacting, manipulation loses power. When you stop explaining, confusion dissolves. When you stop seeking approval, insecurity has nowhere to attach. This is not about cutting people off harshly. This is about adjusting your inner distance. The most powerful boundary is the one that does not need to be announced. Calm awareness is stronger than any argument. Quiet consistency is louder than any confrontation. Let this settle deeply, because the next phase depends on it. You are not meant to fear anyone. You are meant to trust yourself. You are not meant to isolate. You are meant to align. As you move forward, certain connections will naturally soften, slow down, or fade into the background. Others will grow clearer, warmer, and more supportive. This is not loss. This is refinement. You are being guided away from emotional noise and toward inner stability. Stay present. Stay grounded. Stay observant. Because what is about to be revealed next will tie everything together in a way that feels undeniable, and once you see it, you will never unsee it. Now the silence begins to speak, and if you listen closely, it tells you more than any conversation ever did. Silence reveals reactions that words try to hide. Silence shows who panics when they cannot read you. Silence exposes who depends on your openness to feel secure. As you become calmer, steadier, and less reactive, you may notice subtle shifts. Messages feel different. Responses feel delayed. Energy feels slightly tense where it once felt easy. This is not because you changed into something cold. This is because you changed into something clear. Clarity makes hidden intentions uncomfortable. When someone can no longer predict you, influence you, or emotionally lean on you without giving back, they feel unsettled. This discomfort is not your responsibility to fix. Understand this carefully, because this truth is rarely spoken. Not everyone who stays close to you wants to see you rise beyond a certain level. Some people support your growth only until it challenges their own self-image. They are comfortable when you struggle, because it places them above you emotionally or mentally. They are comfortable when you doubt yourself, because it keeps you dependent. But when you stand firm, when you stop seeking reassurance, when you begin trusting your own decisions, something changes in them. Their encouragement becomes conditional. Their advice becomes subtle discouragement. Their concern becomes quiet comparison. This is not evil. This is insecurity reacting to growth. But insecurity, when left unchecked, can still harm. Here is where your power becomes undeniable. You do not need to expose anyone. You do not need to confront anyone. You do not need to accuse or defend. Your growth is the evidence. Your calm is the message. Your consistency is the boundary. The more grounded you become, the more obvious it becomes who respects your evolution and who resists it. Resistance does not always look like conflict. Sometimes it looks like distance disguised as busyness. Sometimes it looks like support without enthusiasm. Sometimes it looks like jokes that slightly reduce your confidence. These small signals matter. They are not meant to alarm you. They are meant to inform you. There is a reason this message feels personal, as if it speaks directly to your experiences. Because it does. You have already felt moments where you pulled back instinctively. Moments where you chose silence instead of explanation. Moments where you protected your peace without fully understanding why. Those moments were not accidents. They were guidance. You are learning to trust yourself again. And as that trust strengthens, the influence of the wrong person weakens naturally. No force is needed. No dramatic exit is required. Alignment always removes what no longer fits. Hold on to this awareness, because the next realization is even deeper. You are not being warned so you can become suspicious of everyone. You are being guided so you can become loyal to yourself. Loyalty to yourself changes how you walk, how you speak, how you decide. It shifts your energy in ways words cannot describe. And when that shift happens, the truth about people becomes impossible to hide. Stay steady. Stay observant. Because what comes next will reveal how this awareness transforms your future in a way you never expected. Something subtle but powerful is happening now, and it is important that you do not rush past it. This stage is not loud. It does not come with clear announcements or dramatic moments. It comes quietly, through small choices you make every day. You begin to pause before responding. You begin to choose your words more carefully. You begin to protect your energy without guilt. And in doing so, you step into a new level of self-respect. This is where the real shift occurs. When self-respect rises, tolerance for misalignment naturally falls. You are no longer available for emotional confusion. You are no longer interested in one-sided effort. You are no longer drawn to connections that leave you questioning your worth. This change is not aggressive. It is grounded. And grounded change is permanent. Notice how life starts rearranging itself once you stop forcing connections. Conversations shorten or deepen. Some invitations stop coming. Some bonds feel lighter, others feel strained. This is not punishment. This is filtration. Life always filters when you choose truth over comfort. The person who could have harmed you loses their influence not because you pushed them away, but because you stopped feeding the dynamic that gave them power. They no longer receive the same emotional reactions. They no longer receive the same access to your inner world. They no longer receive the same validation. And without that fuel, their presence in your life naturally changes form. This is how protection works when it is guided, not forced. There is an important realization you must hold on to now. You were never meant to be everything for everyone. You were never meant to carry emotional weight that was not yours. You were never meant to shrink your truth to maintain peace. Real peace is not fragile. It does not break when you speak honestly. It does not disappear when you set boundaries. If a connection only survives when you are silent, that connection was already unstable. Understanding this frees you from unnecessary guilt. You are allowed to choose environments where your nervous system feels safe. You are allowed to choose relationships that feel mutual. You are allowed to grow without asking permission. This awareness changes how you move forward. You stop oversharing. You stop explaining your decisions repeatedly. You stop seeking agreement from people who do not live your life. And as you do this, you may feel moments of loneliness, not because you are alone, but because you are transitioning. Transition always feels empty before it feels full. But that emptiness is space, and space invites alignment. New respect enters where old confusion leaves. New clarity replaces old doubt. And most importantly, your intuition becomes louder, clearer, and faster. Stay present in this phase, because the final connection is forming. Everything you have heard so far is preparing you for a deeper understanding of why this warning was necessary and what it unlocks for your future. You are not just being protected from harm. You are being redirected toward strength, toward discernment, toward peace that does not depend on anyone's approval. What comes next will show you how this shift changes the path ahead in a way that feels both surprising and undeniable. What unfolds next is not sudden, yet it feels like a quiet revelation that clicks into place. You begin to see how every delay, every redirection, every unanswered expectation was not rejection but protection shaping itself over time. Situations that once confused you now appear precise. Moments that felt like loss now feel like release. This is the stage where wisdom replaces urgency. You no longer rush to label people as good or bad. You simply observe alignment. Peace becomes your reference point. Anything that disturbs it stands out clearly, without emotional debate. This is maturity of the soul, and it changes everything. At this level, you understand something rare. Influence only works where permission exists. The person who could have harmed you only had power while you doubted yourself. The moment you trusted your inner knowing, their reach shortened. Their opinions lost weight. Their reactions stopped controlling your mood. This is why awareness is the true shield. Not fear. Not avoidance. Awareness. When you know who you are, nothing unclear can stay close for long. This understanding does not make you colder. It makes you freer. You remain kind, but no longer available to confusion. You may notice how your inner dialogue has changed. You speak to yourself with more respect. You question less and listen more. You no longer need external confirmation to move forward. This inner stability sends a signal into every area of your life. Opportunities align differently. Conversations shift. Even silence feels comfortable now. This is the effect of internal order. When your inner world is clear, the outer world responds. Not instantly, but consistently. And consistency is where real change lives. Here is the part that few people ever reach. You realize that nothing was taken from you. Everything was taught to you. The discomfort sharpened your discernment. The confusion strengthened your intuition. The emotional weight trained your boundaries. What once felt like a threat now feels like a lesson completed. You are no longer walking blindly. You are walking consciously. And conscious movement attracts respect, even from those who once misunderstood your light. Hold this truth gently, because it anchors what comes next. You are not meant to look back with regret. You are meant to look forward with clarity. The warning was not an ending. It was a turning point. From here, your path becomes quieter, stronger, and more intentional. And as the final layers unfold, you will see how this awareness shapes not just who you avoid, but who you finally allow to walk beside you. Now the path ahead begins to feel different under your feet, steadier, quieter, and unmistakably your own. This is the phase where you stop looking over your shoulder and start looking forward with calm certainty. The past no longer pulls at you. The future no longer rushes you. You stand fully in the present, and from this position, your decisions carry a new weight. You choose with intention. You respond with awareness. You move without the need to prove anything. This grounded presence becomes your natural state, and it protects you more than constant vigilance ever could. You may notice that people start responding to you differently. Some approach you with more respect. Some become unsure how to engage. Some drift without explanation. This is not because you became distant. It is because you became defined. Undefined energy invites projection. Defined energy invites clarity. Those who align with your growth will feel safer around you, not threatened. Those who depended on your uncertainty will feel uncomfortable, even if they cannot explain why. This reaction is information, not something to personalize. It simply shows you where you stand. At this point, trust replaces tension. You trust your timing. You trust your choices. You trust your ability to step back when something feels off. There is no urgency to fix, convince, or rescue. You understand that everyone is responsible for their own inner work. This understanding frees you from emotional overextension. You stop carrying what does not belong to you. And in that release, your energy returns to you, fuller and steadier than before. This is where the deeper reward reveals itself. As you become internally aligned, life begins to mirror that alignment externally. You encounter people who speak with honesty, who listen without hidden agendas, who support without comparison. These connections feel simple. They do not drain you. They do not confuse you. They do not require constant effort to maintain balance. This is how you know you are on the right path. Peace becomes familiar. Stability becomes normal. And growth feels natural instead of forced. Remain present in this understanding, because the final realization is approaching. Everything you experienced was guiding you here, to a place where discernment and compassion coexist. You are not hardened. You are refined. You are not closed. You are clear. And clarity, once established, cannot be undone. What comes next will show how this transformation completes itself, bringing a sense of quiet confidence that stays with you long after this message ends. This is the stage where understanding turns into quiet confidence, and quiet confidence becomes your natural language. You no longer announce your strength. You no longer explain your boundaries. You no longer need recognition for your growth. It shows in how you walk away without bitterness, how you stay calm when others expect reaction, how you remain steady when situations test your patience. This calm is not emptiness. It is fullness without noise. And once you reach this point, very little can disturb you, because you are no longer fighting reality. You are moving with it. You begin to notice that your intuition speaks faster now. There is less debate inside you. Less second-guessing. Less inner conflict. Decisions feel cleaner. Even when they are difficult, they feel right. This is not because life becomes easier, but because you become clearer. You understand that clarity does not remove challenges. It removes confusion. And confusion was always the real burden. Without it, your energy stays intact, your focus sharpens, and your emotions stabilize. Something else changes too, something subtle yet powerful. You stop attracting situations that test your self-worth. You stop repeating emotional cycles that once felt familiar. The same patterns no longer find a place to attach, because you no longer resonate with them. This is not magic. This is alignment. When your inner state changes, your outer experiences must adjust. Life responds to who you are becoming, not who you used to be. At this level, compassion deepens, but it no longer leaks. You can understand others without absorbing their struggles. You can listen without losing yourself. You can care without carrying. This balance is rare, and it is earned through awareness. You see people clearly now, without idealizing them or condemning them. You accept them as they are, while choosing what role they play in your life. This discernment is not judgment. It is wisdom. Stay grounded in this awareness, because the final connection is near. Everything has been leading here, to a moment of internal completion. You were warned not to create fear, but to awaken strength. You were shown clarity not to isolate, but to align. What comes next will bring a sense of closure, not as an ending, but as a beginning that feels calm, certain, and deeply